we seem to forgot the gains we got from a boycott. See, money is power. The only thing that we really respect in this country is money. But we don't spend our money intelligently as a unit. They're not going to tell you that. You know, we don't know how to empower ourselves with money. That's what I think about our children. They are entrepreneurs in the drug game.
In different ways, yeah.
In the drug game.
In the
See,
wrong game.
we need to let them know that we need entrepreneurs, and we need to embrace ourselves financially. We get $450 billion a year as a people.
Yeah.
We got to know how to put that back. And then the money that we also spent, it's a privilege to get our money. We have power if we use our money
That's
wisely.
so powerful you say that real
Yeah.
quick, Mike. You know, and I mean no disrespect by saying this to the elders, because I love the elders and I understand what y'all went through. But Brother John Henry Clark, who I have on the cover of my book, said it wasn't a civil rights movement, it was a consumer rights
There
movement.
you go. And that's
Right.
exactly
We
right.
were fighting to spend our money with
That's
them.
right.
Right.
That's right.
Right.
Seriously.
And that's exactly the point we need to
Consumer
make
rights movement.
as far as the money that we get and how to use it to uplift ourselves.
And you know what? John Henry Clark is one of the most, underappreciated scholars ever.
Yes, sir.
I mean, he's gone to war continuously. Before his death, he put out so much material, and he would call, the so-called black looters.
Right.
He would, go challenge them one-on-one, and he had his viewpoint, he had his facts, and man, everything that he written, you could back it up. He definitely was a legend who left us a whole lot to go with. But like you said, the music industry, that's an industry we need to control.
Right.
I mean, you look at it, the beginning of rap, when it came out, you had a wide variety.
Well,
Now,
part of
all
the
you
message,
see-
though.
Pardon me?
They had
That's what I'm saying.
positive
But
messages.
you had wide variety. And back then, the people producing, were African Americans. So you may have an NWA, but that came later.
Right.
But at the beginning, you had
Public Enemy.
Public Enemy. You had X Clan. Paradise Gray and those guys. I mean, you had different things, and now all you see is one. You would think only thing rap is gangster rap. But what I'm saying is we need to control these industries. You think of all the music that we produce, the R&B, the rap, the hip hop, the blues, the jazz, but we're not controlling any of that. We produce it, give it to somebody else to distribute.
Yes, sir.
So it's up to us to really
without a
start controlling this industry.
Yeah. The industry's based on lies, man, and it's based on deceit. It's a very deceitful, grimy business, the music industry, man. It's a lot of pain and a lot of hurtful people controlling it. Even when we was doing positive music, I got to note that, the Europeans still controlled it.
No question.
They still own the labels.
No question.
So, I asked the kids the other day when I was talking to them, I said, who knows who Bambaataa was? No one understood who Bambaataa was. And I had explained to them about the origins of who we know as the, Africa Bambaataa here. Right. I explained to them how he started the gang truce in New York after he got back from South Africa. Then I explained to him there was a people called Bambaataa. There was a chief of an South African tribe. They were called Bambaataa. So, we don't really even know where rap comes from, man, let alone, the origins of man or the origins of Kemet or the origins of Kush. I mean, we in some trouble, bro.
We in major
trouble, man.
It's been often noted that it said we got a tough act to follow because we're both authors and writers, and it's been said, if you don't want black folks to know something, put it in a book. We don't read.
Yeah.
And so those things that you said that you so eloquently put into to play in our mind, these things are known, but you're standing up. You're out there telling the truth about these matters. Because like you said, a lot of people know these things, but aren't have the fortitude to speak the truth.
They're afraid. They're afraid because a lot of examples, a lot of people who have stood up ended up with a bullet in their head.
No question.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm a spiritual person.
No question.
Right? And I believe in God. And I know that He has control over this world. No matter what, we do with technology, the Creator and nature always has a way to sit us back down and say, you ain't nothing. He'll put a hurricane on your ass fast, and you French, and we sit down, and you understand what I'm saying? We come to reality fast, all right? So, as much as we think we running stuff, we really ain't running nothing.
Question.
All right? So let's get that clear now.
But I'm glad you brought that up because I think one of the problems that we as black folks have is that we're not working collectively, cohesive enough to make a difference.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? And to me, as we all know, we all gonna die one day anyway.
Oh, yeah.
You see what I'm saying? But what do we stand that we would die for?
Right.
What good is your life if you haven't made it better for those that come behind you? See, so we're actually at war amongst ourselves, and we're killing ourselves. You want to talk with the young guys, we'll have to work with the youth, and they want to call themselves, I'm a soldier. Well, what you fighting for? Who you fighting? Your own people. See, so we have to recognize the job they put on us for all these years was so complete that now they stand back and watch us kill ourselves. If we were getting killed in the streets by another race of people like we're killing ourselves, it would be a race war.
Oh yeah, be on.
It'd be a race war.
Be on,
And especially if the police didn't come and investigate it.
Right, but also, you know, it's up to us because any other problem, any other disease, any other epidemic, where you had one particular group of people getting destroyed like this, you know, things would be brought in to try to correct that.
They don't care about us.
Exactly. So it's obvious they don't care, but we have to show we got to do it.
That's exactly
you know what I mean?
right.
And we're not, you know, we got people talking about, we got people in positions, you know, like you said. One book that I'm reading is one of the most powerful. It's called the Head Negro in Charge. Like you said, the leaders of the past were willing to die for what they believed in to get us to a certain point. Now you have leaders in, they're not going anywhere unless there's a check.
Exactly.
You know, oh, there's a ride. Somebody, all right, hey, we need you to go take care of these. It's about to be a ride. Here's, go over there, calm the people down. Bam.
Yeah, I wrote an article called "Does Modern Black America Need Leaders?" Do we need them any? See, my thing is, individually, we all got to be leaders. You know,
Exactly.
why are we waiting for Al Sharpton to come out and speak, you know, and say something? That's no knock against that brother, but you know, come on, man.
He's
Let's be
coming in
realistic
the area
about the
where we
situation.
living in every day.
Yeah,
you know, he got a problems, and all throughout this country, we got an epidemic of murders in Chicago, New York, Philadelphia, and that's us doing it to ourselves. So we have to recognize we shouldn't have any way for any government programs. We got to be leaders within ourselves, and men. It's basically this. Men have to step up and be men. We're talking about society. Society, it says what defines a man. A man takes care of his community and his woman. So like he said, us being soft, he used the word soft, I call it failures. We're being failures. We're not being the men that a woman deserves to have. And that's one other problem we have too. We got so many things that we're fighting against.
The difference back in the day, real quick before we go to the next question, the Africans, when the men didn't do it, the women did it. There was an example, Yaya Ashantiwa, okay, of the Ashanti tribe. She stepped to the men and said, look, y'all gonna let these British destroy us like that? You men ain't fighting back? Well, if y'all ain't gonna fight, we women gonna step up and do it. We ain't even got that now, okay? Our women are just as messed up as we are mentally, right? But we're the ones that's supposed to step up, you know, and say, hey man, we're the head, enough is enough. This is going to stop. Yeah,
and right now we're fighting. You know, men are fighting women. You know, there's so many. You know, I can't find a black man. And I can't.
Oh man.
You know, and then there was I forget this other article recently. You know, it's time to change that. Like you said, the men got to step up. We have to get. We don't need leaders coming in, man.
We need to all be. We need to be leaders within ourselves. We have, like he said, God is still in charge of everything.
Oh, yeah.
We have a spiritual being,
sir.
and once you get to the point of knowing yourself and knowing Him, things will change. We got away from the ways of the Lord, as well as the type of people we come from. Years ago, we fought us against them, mainly protecting ourselves from them, and it was, and now we fighting us against them still, and us against us. How you gonna get ahead? Those are just basic common sense questions that we need to address. We shouldn't be worried about the Steelers as much as we're dealing about our children and our neighborhoods are killing each other.
That's exactly what happened to the gangbang era. And I talk about it in the Cushite book, and you know how we went from organizing ourselves against groups, white groups like the Spook Hunters in Huntington, California, defending ourselves, putting groups like the Snyder Boys and the Slossons together to defend ourselves as we moved into suburban areas to fighting and killing ourselves, man. It was a severe shift. A lot of the scholars call it post-68 syndrome.
Right.
Since 68, if you look at every category, Black Americans, we're at the bottom, man, and we've really suffered. We have foreign shopkeepers now in our communities. Back in the day, the store owner was a brother. You know, you went to, you got credit.
Now.
You did,
the other people that's dealing in our neighborhoods, the corner store, selling us soul food. We talk quite often about a lot of things. And these are things that concern us, and that's why we on Real Talk, Real Men to bring it out. And not just for the three of us. This should be something to form to get us talking, because talking makes actions. You know what I'm saying? But let's not just be talking about it, let's be about it.
Rhetoric is the key to education, man. We got to remember that. When you hear the young brothers, you just talk, man, rhetoric is the key to education. How are we going to get better if we don't discuss it, man? You know what I mean?
That's right.
You know, it's not soft to talk about something.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So
That's
we
planning.
gotta wake up and
From
see
the
that.
fight
man.
game, it's plan your work and work your plan.
Strategy.
You know?
And like you said, you know, that we got the kids out here, they're playing a game with no rules.
Right.
And the reason, we didn't give them a rule book.
That's
You
right.
know, everything's acceptable. You know,
right.
something, you know, like just like the sagging pants. You know, in jail, you know, you couldn't wear a belt, you know, and then it comes in our community.
Right.
All this stuff we let go in our community because we're not giving them a rule book.
Right. And then they found out a way to make money off that.
Yeah.
Because now they got laws saying if you wear your pants down, you get a fine.
Right.
Jersey, Georgia, all over the country now they popping up with little different laws. You can't wear your pants hanging down.
But ironically enough, if you watch that law is enforced downtown where they're at. They're not coming to our community and enforcing that.
Right.
You understand? Because it doesn't care how you look, how ridiculous you look in your own community. That's amongst y'all. Come downtown with that. The same thing as far as the rampant killing as well as the drugs. There's a certain perimeter that you can go to because they're not going to have that.
Right.
They're not having that.
I got a chapter in the book I titled "Laugh Now, Cry Later," and I got it from an Ice Cube song. I heard that song and it messed with me, man. That whole night I just was writing down my thoughts about that title, "Laugh Now, Cry Later." And if you look at it, that's what's happening to us, man. You know, these young brothers, they laughing, they getting the money in the street, and you know, I know a lot of young brothers like that. But as soon as they get knocked, they crying to that public defender, they crying to the lawyer, "Get me out of here, get me out," and they resorted to being who they really are, a scared little boy, man.
Right.
You understand? So we laughing, and then we end up crying, man. That's what's happening to us, bro.
And also, you know, one thing I talk about, you know, so many guns in our neighborhood. You know what I mean? The anger was always there, but now the availability of guns is so easy to get.
It's amazing.
You know, you got this anger already, so anytime somebody pisses you off, you're just pulling a gun, pulling the trigger. Just like that, your life is over.
I want to ask the one question before I'm cutting you off, since you said that, because I want to just elaborate on that. Where's all these guns coming from?
Oh, we know where they're coming from.
We know where they're coming from.
We know where they're coming from. You know, I've heard stories doing research for my book. Some of my brothers in Cali would say that they would find empty train cars full of guns. So, I mean, come on, man. There's the black market. You know, it's out here.
And the
you
same
get a gun
way
quicker than you
the
can.
crack was first introduced to the black neighborhoods. Where did that stuff come from? You got to open up your eyes and see the tricks of the game they playing in with you and me.
We got to stop playing them. We need to set our own game plan. Right now, you know, we're just going no vision. You know, everybody's about self. Everybody's about, but that's not how you get ahead. Until we come together and get a collective plan and not wait on somebody to come in and we got to come together, get a collective plan. It just starts, you know, most of these movements have started small.
Oh,
You know,
Takes
we
one
don't
match
need,
to start a flame,
that's
brother.
right.
we don't need
That's right.
somebody to come in and put together this. No, in your neighborhood, we can start with that street, then go to the next street, and then that's how the movement gets bigger. You know, but we haven't done that, and that's something we have to do. You know, people talk about it, but not that many people are being about
All
it.
the great leaders have talked about that, brother, and we still have not got it together. We got little sections of people usually grouped up in a different ideology or a different, you know, some type of a rhetoric, and they group themselves together, and they don't care about everybody else that's outside that. That's my main problem with a lot of those groups. You know, you deal with something when it affects, you know, you, but when it comes to somebody else that's a different ideology, different rhetoric, you're like, man, look at that. See, I told you. So, you know, there's a lot of different things.
We got to stop having these barriers, you know. You know, Christians won't work with Muslims, won't work with it. Listen, we had the problem. We have to address it. You know, we got to stop, cut down all these barriers. You know what I mean? This neighborhood, this church.
Christians and Muslims have been fighting since the beginning of time. We did with the Crusades.
You know, well, right now we have black churches fighting with other black churches.
Sir.
So we need to stop all that.
Sir.
You know, we're acting. You know, I said this. We're acting like gangs.
Agree.
And we can't effectively change anything if we have trouble when we're trying to work together. So we have to do that first.